Oh, my lost love. So many centuries have passed it by, and so many writers, above all one writer, and then everybody exploited your character. You have become legend. But that legend was my husband. He was Vlad Hagyak III, very famous to be called Vlad Tepes III, because in Romanian language, Tepes means the impaler. And then during 2 centuries ago, a writer called Bram Stoker decided to write down one of the most famous novels ever. But what he wrote down wasn't the truth, or at least he should say that he was inspired by the figure of Vlad Tepes III. Instead, everybody believed in that novel. And now I tell you the true story, because I am the first wife of Vlad Tepes III. I was his big legendary love, and I am here to tell you what really happened and what our story was. Vlad Hagyak III was born on November the 2nd in 1431. Yes, in the Middle Ages. Everybody thinks that that day was born the legend of the Count Dracula. Instead, that day was born a prince, because Vlad has never been a count. Always in Bram Stoker's novel, but not in reality. He has always been a prince, and he made me princess. Nobody knew my true name, the name of his first legendary wife, who killed herself, throwing herself from the tower of the castle into the river Down. But you must know the truth story. Since the beginning, my true name wasn't Mina or Wilhelmina, as Bram Stoker told and wrote down. Other people say that my true name was Elisabetta or Elizabeth. It wasn't the truth. My true name was Valeria. And when we met for the first time, it was love at first sight. It wasn't a defined marriage, a defined wedding, as he did after my death. It was true love. We were truly, madly in love. Was my love, my only love. Nobody could love me like he did, like I sense that he still loves me, because I have been the only woman. He laughed when he was in life. When he died at the end of the year 1476. And then he became a vampire. My name was Valeria, and we were married for about 6 years. Then he should leave. Then he left our beautiful castle to go to war, to fight against our enemies who wanted to invade Transylvania. That was our castle. Then, one day, I received a letter, and there was written that not to have a reason to live on. Also because the army of the enemies should have entered our wonderful castle and took me as prisoner. I would have become a slave. All the enemies would have tortured me, raped me, and maybe also killed me or kept me slave for all of my life. I couldn't accept it. I preferred death to reach my love, Vlad. I thought that my love was dead, and so I decided to step on all those several stairs. I reached the top of the tower, and then I threw myself into the river below, and I drowned. I couldn't imagine that Vlad wasn't dead. Just few hours. If he won the battle, and he was returning to our lovely Gothic castle. He didn't know that I had received a letter in which there it was written that he had died in that terrible battle. So, just a few hours ago, he returned to the castle and he saw my body dead, flowing in the river below the castle. The river didn't take my corpse away because I remained trapped in the threads of some trees, and my body was there. Vlad took me into his arms. He started screaming out and crying out, swearing vengeance. I just can't accept it, because our love was like in this hourglass. Just 1 hour or 2 hours. If Vlad reached our castle the river. But unfortunately, that was the end. Not of our eternal love, but of that love. He always loved me, and in the diaries of his last years of life, he wrote down, "I never loved other women. I always, and I'm still in love with Valeria." He fought for the freedom of our earth. But he became a vampire. And so he is still alive. There was another way. When I met him, I immediately perceived a love and death in him. In fact, only dead divided us. For centuries, but death was the only problem. My name now is not Valeria, because I am Valeria, but I am reborn in an Italian woman called Valerica. My name is Valerica. I reborn in Valerica because our love was eternal and is still eternal and immortal. But death can't win this time because I am reborn. I am reborn in Valerica. For Vlad, so our eternal love is not doomed to tragedy anymore. When Valeria died, he recalled the river under Bran Castle, the river of the princess. And that princess was me. My name wasn't Nina, Wilhelmina, Elisabetta. My name was Valeria. And I hadn't black hair like in that invented novel, like in all the horror movies nowadays. The greatest love of Dracula, Vlad Tepes III, had black hair? No. It's simple. I am Valerica, and by now is 2023, and now we have all these technologies, internet. We can do all the researches we want, and you can find my photo. And Valeria was very, very blonde. She had very, very long hair. Very, very long hair. And she had blue eyes. So I found me, Valerica. I found my photos when I was Valeria. And I am Valeria, reborn in Valerica, because our love this time won't be doomed to tragedy. This time is different. I always sensed him near to me. I think all those Valentines, Saint Valentines, always spent alone, waiting and thinking about my Vlad, our wonderful castle, and his symbol, the dragon. Know that in Romanian language, Dracula means devil. But he wasn't devil. He was my husband. He was, and is still, my immortal and eternal love. I still love him endlessly. And even if I reborn, I'm Valerica. This necklace into me, even if I'm not a vampire like him. There is also a heart like the one of a vampire, because it's frozen, it's so cold. But it beats only for the blood. My heart. My heart is like a tomb. I wear this crown because I am the only princess for him. I was and I still am his love. I opened. I have no heart, but this is my heart, my dark heart, and if it's able to beat, it's just because I am reborn, and I decided to, this time I decided to exit from the coffin, my heart too. In the air, I smell him, I perceive him, I've been perceiving. It feels like he's near to me.